also this webinar, and that is co-organized with the Lisbon Council, because it focuses on a topic that which is co-creation. And if we think about the concept itself is quite simple. You know, it's really to involve citizens from the start, so in the thinking phase, in co-design, and then in the implementation of the of public services together with the government. But the how maybe is actually the more complex part, you know, the process on how we actually implement this, how we make it concrete. So how do we involve the citizens? How do we design together? How we use the data that are available? Which kind of data? So I think that today it's a good opportunity for all of us to explore more what cities are doing thanks to the Co-VAL project. So I will give the floor to our speaker, but just before starting, two housekeeping issues, if you like. The webinar is recorded, so we will send the link to all of you right after the webinar finished. And then we have dedicated about 30 minutes at the end for questions and answers. But you are already very welcome to type your questions and to send us your questions through the chat. And so we can collect them during the presentation and then be ready to reply to you. So I give now the floor to Francesco Mureddu,
Thank you very much.
Director at the Lisbon Council. So please tell us a bit more about the Lisbon Council first, and then maybe the Co-VAL as well, the results.
Thank you, Federica. Thank you, Paola. My name is Francesco Mureddu, and I am Director at the Lisbon Council. The Lisbon Council is a think tank that was established to support the Lisbon agenda, and it has been existing for 16 years now. And the Lisbon Council supports the European Commission in several projects, tenders, and Horizon 2020 projects, which are basically dealing with transformation of public sector, digital transformation of public administration, and transformation of services in the sense of making the services more user-centric and more co-created. So Lisbon Council at the moment is involved in the project Co-VAL. Co-VAL is a Horizon 2020 project which will finish in October of this year. And the Lisbon Council is responsible for the policy impact of this project. Basically, what we do is to produce policy briefs, high-level roundtables and summits. And also we established a dashboard, the Co-VAL dashboard, which is basically a tracking, monitoring, and benchmarking platform that allows to track digital transformation and co-creation in public administrations, both at member states and at local level. So the Co-VAL project is coordinated by Athens Technology Center, which is a software house from Greece, and it has 12 partners, among which universities, or we have companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers, and we have think tanks like the Lisbon Council. We will produce then a demo of the dashboard afterwards, but first some words about Co-VAL. So basically, the idea of Co-VAL is to define what is value co-creation in public services. In this regard, Co-VAL aims to measure and monitor the transformative innovation in the public sector and to investigate value co-creation in 4 main domains. One is digital transformation, another one is service design, the third one is innovation and living labs, and the final one is public-private third sector innovation networks in public administration. So the idea of Co-VAL is to provide a theoretical framework that helps researchers and practitioners, policymakers to understand the value co-creation process, new evidence and metrics that will allow to monitor and to define and benchmark public administration transformation, and policy recommendations. For instance, we share best practices, we share policy recommendation aimed to boost and to increase the take-up of digital services, and aim to increase the co-creation of public services. So I will speak briefly about the tracker, but showing basically how it works. Yes. Okay, so this is the Co-VAL dashboard. So the dashboard has two main pages. One is the country views, one is the municipality view. How does it work? Basically, the dashboard is built on a set of indicators. These indicators belong to five main dimensions. So we have the policy dimension, interoperability reuse dimension. For example, policy dimension considers to what extent the digital plan of a nation, for instance, is aligned with the European interoperability framework, and to what extent the national digital plan embeds the dimension of co-creation, so if co-creation is quoted or not. The interoperability dimension deals with the use of and availability of base registry, the provision of APIs, the take-up of APIs. For instance, we have indicators on how many are the users of APIs and how many are the calls per month. If there are centralized service modules which are provided to local authorities, and the take-up of these services. In fact, what is really innovative in our dashboard, but actually in the paradigm according to which Lisbon Council works, is that digital services are not only looked and considered from the point of view of the supply, but what is very important is the take-up of digital services. And in fact, in all our activities, whether in Horizon 2020 or in projects and direct consultancy to the European Commission and Member States, we really point out that the most important thing that is oftentimes neglected is really the study of the take-up of the services. Mm-hmm. Then we have the dimension of collaboration, so to what extent service co-design is used, what is the percentage of digital transaction, the use of EIDAS and trust services, how many co-creation exercises are used, are implemented, and so on and so forth. Then the dimension of skills, to what extent the public administration recruits skills from outside, and to what extent the public administration trains the employees. And finally, the monitoring, to what extent digital government is monitored through use of KPIs, to what extent KPIs on uptake of the online services are used, and to what extent KPIs on users' co-creation of public services are used. So this is the example for the national member states. We can see that we have data for most of the member states, and according to the legend, we use a kind of semaphoric legend, in the sense that when an indicator is fulfilled, or when a threshold is overcome, the indicator is green. When you don't have data, the indicator is gray, and when the indicator is not fulfilled, then let's say the legend is red. For instance, if a digital plan, in this case Belgium, does not make a direct mention of co-creation, then the indicator would be red. So this is basically the situation. As we can see for member states, we have most of the data data, or anyway, we are collecting most of the data, and the data are collected through desk research by the consortium, but also by representatives of the public administrations, which provide the data just as normal Excel files, or they use we provide them with a login so that they can provide the data themselves. For what concerns the municipality view, we have less cities. So basically we are piloting now the dashboard, and in fact I really ask you and urge you to provide us with the data from your city in order to be able to do a benchmarking. In fact, the benefit for representatives from the cities to provide the data are really that they will be able, from one hand, to display the achievements in terms of co-creation and digital transformation of their city. On the other hand, they will have an idea of what the others are doing. So this is very important. And we can see that for what concerns the cities, let's say the indicators are roughly the same, and the dimensions are roughly the same. We can see that we have very good data and very good results, for instance, for Milan and for Amsterdam, but also for Turin, while for Madrid, situation is a little bit more problematic, and for Athens and Paris, we still need more data. So let's see how do we collect the data, how do we input the data. So it's possible to input the data by using this summary. So each country can have a summary, and we can input the data simply by using these mechanisms. So, for instance, do you have a national digital plan aligned with the European interoperability framework? You can say yes or no. But what is very important, and is something that is really reported in the project, is that when inputting the data and when inputting the answer, one needs also to input the evidence. So here it's very useful, because here we can collect the best practices. Here we can see which are the documents that are basically proving that a country is fulfilling an indicator, and so this is very important because it allows us to provide also a very deep analysis of each country. For instance, a number of APIs provided by public administration, 14 in case of Greece, and then we have the link to basically the documents that explain which are these APIs, or number of third parties also in this case. So it's very important to provide this kind of evidence that allows us to also to implement a very in-depth analysis. And this is also for the municipalities. So in this kind of, okay, here for Athens, as I said, we don't have yet data. We are collecting the data by contacting the city representatives. But the idea is that we will fill all these dimensions by the end of the project, and then we will provide our analysis. So this is basically the status of the dashboard. Let's see a little bit more in detail the indicators. Okay. So basically, so as we have seen, so the indicators are basically structured in a two-level hierarchy. So 5-dimension and 21 indicators. So the policy dimension specifically considers the participation to international networks initiatives. Interoperability considers the exchange of data knowledge between ICT systems. Collaboration involves the it includes the involvement of users in the creation and design of services. Skills, it means acquisition of skills by public administration. A typical example is the city of Milan that has acquired managers from very important multinationals. Finally, we have monitoring. So basically, to what extent the activity of a country or a municipality is monitored by using KPIs, especially on take-up. The indicators have been validated, apart from the Co-VAL consortium, also by the City of Milan, the Italian digital team, and the Director General Digit of the European Commission. So here in the presentation, you will find an explanation of the indicators, very precise, also taking into account which kind of data type of data are used, and the level of indicators, if it's local, central, or both. And we also provide indicators that are percentage, so that the user will input the percentage straight in our dashboard. Regarding the let's say the color code, as we said, is positive green when an indicator is fulfilled, neutral is yellow, negative is red, and we have some threshold, for instance, for what concerns the APIs developed by local authorities. According to the number that are developed, we can have a different color of the indicator. So this is basically what I showed you in the demo, and this is the login page for stakeholders. So if you want to import the data of your citizen, we really urge you, because I mean it's useful for us, but also useful for you, as I already mentioned, in order to display the achievement of your city. Then we can provide you with a login and an account, so that you can enter the data yourself, and then after a very simple validation by the consortium, the data will be displayed. So this is the data entry form that I showed you before. That is very simple to use. And finally, I'd like to take the possibility to present a set of events that we are implementing in collaboration with Eurocities at the Digital City Summit, so at the Milano Digital Week. We are having events on Friday, 13th of March 2020, basically the whole day from 11 to 4:30 in the afternoon at Triennale Milano. And basically the idea of these events is to focus on what the most progressive cities are doing in terms of co-creation, design thinking, and interoperability. And we are going to have very high-level speakers like Roberta Cocco, who is the Councillor on Digital Transformation Citizen Services, Municipality of Milan, Emanuele Baldacci, Director in the Digital Services of Digit of the European Commission, Fabrizia Benini, Head of Unit at the European Commission, Anna Goss, who is the Service Design Lead of the UK Government Digital Services. And the speakers, we also include the Chief Innovation Officer of the Barcelona City Council and of Amsterdam, and also Federica Bordello, Policy Advisor of Eurocities. There will be basically three main parts in the event. So we are going to do a first roundtable on the state of co-creation, in which we speak about which are the municipal reforms towards co-creation. Then we are going to display interoperability solutions at city level under the form of case studies. And finally, we are going to present a Co-VAL policy brief, co-authored by David Osimo, Director of Research at the Lisbon Council, myself, and Antonia Rundel, professor at United Nations University, Maastricht. And the policy brief is the state of co-creation, which is based on the data that are present in the dashboard, tracking co-creation in the member states, but also on a very big survey on 1,000 public administration officials in six countries. So in the presentation that we will send after the end of the webinar, you will find all the information in order to register and to hopefully attend the event.
Okay, thank you so much. Francesco, I think it was a very clear overview of what the project has done, and I think it's actually a great opportunity for our members to contribute to the dashboard, because as you said, I think it's an opportunity for cities, of course, to show what they are doing, what is and to evaluate also then their performances. So it's I think it's a great opportunity, and then to see also at European level, you know, what is the current situation, the trends, and etc. I'm sure that you know that the Commission is working also on DAISY local, towards a DAISY local. So this, you know, the DAISY, it's this digital economic index that at the moment is only at national level, but together with the Committee of the Regions and a number of other stakeholders and partners, also Eurocities is contributing to the development of this DAISY local. The idea is really to measure more what are the performances in terms of using of digital in cities. So I think that, of course, this dashboard and the results of all this project can help a lot in also as part informing the different indicators. Are you collaborating already with?
No, we are not yet collaborating with the local, but basically our dashboard goes in the same direction.
Yeah.
Because we are really developing indicators also at municipal level, so local level. But what is very interesting is that we collaborate a lot with the Italian digital team, and the Italian digital team has understood since the beginning the local dimension. In fact, the Italian digital team acts almost like a consultancy team that goes to the public administrations at local level and helps them to transform digitally their services and to share their data and to basically to evolve and to make services more user-centric.
Perfect. Do we have questions collected?
Questions, yes. One from Kim Lanto. She says, hi, how are the citizens incorporated in this dashboard? How do they work with the cities to follow and engage what can be changed? What kind of APIs are used and what standards are being used?
Okay. Basically, citizens are not directly involved in the dashboard because the data from the dashboard are supported by the city. For what concerns the APIs, it depends on the city. There are cities that use any kind of APIs to basically to provide data that can be reused by the citizens. APIs that allow the citizens to use the public services from outside. So, regarding the standards, freeware, it depends on. To my knowledge, there are cities that use freeware, but it's an internal matter. It doesn't concern with our dashboard. And so far, we have not had reports from cities using freeware, but I know freeware, and I'm sure that there are cities that use it.
KPIs, so this is more than just comments.
Yeah, in fact, Fabrizia Benini will come to Milan, and she's the head of DESI, and it's clear that our collaboration with Fabrizia Benini shows that really our dashboard goes towards the direction of developing DESI at local level.
Perfect.
Okay, maybe we can open the floor for those that maybe have a question now to ask. Is there anyone who wants
You want me to unmute?
to step in? We will unmute you now, so you're actually able to speak.
They should be muted.
Are they?
Is this? That's the thing. Hey, you're muted now. If you wish to, we're muted ourselves. If you wish to ask a question now, or like have any, want to debate
Reaction?
about something or
Yeah,
reaction.
there is David Osimo is asking the floor.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thanks for this. I just wanted to point out regarding the DESI local that, of course, we have to work together with the initiatives that are in place, but it's a very complex process. And I think if cities are really interested in having a DESI local, they should start sharing data and building them themselves. And this is what we're trying to do. Of course, we need a structured process that builds robust indicators, and we are working on that. But in the short term, we need to start with sharing the data that we already gather. And the peculiarity of the dashboard is that not only it uses the input of cities, but also it leverages data that are already there, such as the number of transactions. So data that you don't have to do a survey to take part in the dashboard. You can use the data that are generated directly by your digital services. This is our point. Thanks.
Thank you, David.
Any more comments, reaction?
You can just indicate it in the chat if you wish to intervene. Now make sure the sound works.
I think
Maybe Christopher Glauser would like to say something.
maybe I take the opportunity because I was thinking if there will be then a kind of an improved version afterwards if you already thought about the future, I mean, of this dashboard, because I was looking at some indicators, and you were asking how many APIs were sent by the national authorities, and then you provide a number, but it would be actually good to know maybe out of how many that they have, to go more in depth also into the results. So to see, maybe to collect a first round, if you like, a first wave of results, but maybe not only to enlarge, if you like, the community, but also analyze even more than the results. That I think it's a long exercise. I mean, those who are working with indicators, they know that there are a lot of variability, a lot of...
Yes, there is always the trade-off between to what extent an indicator and how much an indicator is precise, and how easy it is to find the data of an indicator. But yes, the dashboard is an ongoing framework, and then we have been adding and refining indicators for 1 year now. And until the end of the project, we will keep working on the dashboard in order to make it, let's say, as more usable as possible and as comprehensive as possible. But there are also several ideas for the projects that we are exploring, and as you know, in fact, we are preparing a proposal with the EuroCities, a proposal called User Centricities, that will be submitted on the 12th of March to the Horizon 2020 program. And this project, if awarded, will allow to develop a further version of our monitoring system, and more precise, more comprehensive, and including a higher number of especially cities.
Asa Tarsen is asking if you could please answer the questions from Kim Lanto in written. But they were the ones we went over before. I don't know if you wish to expand further. There were the ones that had to do with citizen engagement.
I will.
These were the questions.
Okay, I will provide an answer in written to Kim Lanto.
Okay, perfect. And Asa.
Okay, perfect. We have your contacts, and I will follow up with a more precise answer.
Perfect. Okay. I think he has.
Okay. Any other question or reaction?
Christopher says, I think collecting KPIs is perfect, and I hope many cities are joining in, but cities are trying to DIY, I think, first their own deficits in terms of technology and content before they're willing to share their experience, I think. To fix first their own deficits in terms of technology.
Yeah, of course. There are several degrees of there are cities that already have transformed their services, and that already are sharing their experience and their data, like Milan or Turin, but other cities that are lacking. But clearly, what we want the cities to show is that they are in the process of improving their public services, and I think that this is useful also for the cities.
Okay, if there are no further questions, I think we can close the session. As said, the webinar has been recorded, so we will send you the link afterwards, with also some kind of minutes so all the links, of course, and the presentation. I offer you, I actually push you to join the event in Milan, the Digital City Summit, to also have a discussion with politicians and with other stakeholders and representatives in
policymakers
and policymakers, yes. And I thank you, Francesco, for this, and thank you all for participating. And hope, well, if you want more information, of course, you can contact Francesco or myself. And I hope that more cities will be interested and actually willing to participate and to provide data on the dashboard.
Of course. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's follow up.
Indeed. Bye. Bye-bye.